welcome to CeMAT Asia 2021 online guided tours. Now it is the second day afternoon and we are at AGV's pavilion. It is really busy, a lot of visitors, and of course a lot of exhibitors. And now we are at BITO booth, and now with me, Dr. Gung. Dr. Gung, good afternoon, how are you?
Good, thanks. Hello everyone.
How is the exhibition, do you think?
It's very exciting. We can see a lot of new emerging technologies and a lot of great vendors trying to give a boost of the automation and try to help logistics, which is great.
Yes. And maybe you can introduce to our visitors about your company and maybe some new products that you're showing off this year.
Sure, like BITO Robotics is really a smart manufacturing operation system solution provider. We're really trying to make production become data-driven. We put a lot of AI into our system, trying to help the production become more lean, flexible, more demand-driven. In that, smart logistics and the robot is a very important and integral part to achieve flexible manufacturing. So that's why we show up here and we introduce our new products here.
Okay. So what do you think, like, how is your new product can help like whole industry to develop or to facilitate like
Yeah, so when people talk about smart manufacturing, logistics is so important part because it really matters of the pacing of production, how different components, different stations, and the different departments connect together from a material perspective. But really when we talk about smart manufacturing, it's not only about the emergent performance of the logistics and material flow, it's really the thinking behind that emerging behaviors, right? Like where the production planning come from, why which part is being produced first and which is next, whether we're in short of material, how every stations are coordinated together is so important. So really the thinking behind the emerging logistics is what's important. So what we're showing here is really the smart system, the AI-driven system thinking about what's the production schedule, how to schedule correct production pacing and correctly coordinate resources together, and then using automation to connect everything in the factory together to improve efficiency.
Okay. So, and this is maybe pretty interesting question. So in recent years, due to development of the internet, there has been an obvious reverse transmission of pressure effects on the upstream production chain and the production methods, production cycles, and even production equipment. So it changed, everything has changed.
Right.
So has BITO Intelligence encountered any difficulties in this process, and how did you adapt?
Right. We really see a big disruptions in manufacturing nowadays. I think the sources coming from multiples. First, I think the e-commerce is really making the sales forecast. It's really like the orders coming become dynamic, online and unpredictable, right?
Especially in COVID.
Correct. So the manufacturer had to be like very fast, responsive to any online demand. So the production becoming more and more order driven. It's make to order rather than make to stock. And we can see more and more emerging new brands really connecting to these suppliers and the manufacturer to making more and more different type of SKUs and making production planning and the supply chain more difficult. Also, COVID is also another boost, right? Everything is like very unpredictable, very dynamic, very unreliable. So people have to embrace these changes rather than say deny these changes, right? So the supply chain need to become faster, the decision making need to be faster. The production need to be more nimble and flexible. That's what we see. So we can see robot definitely is an important part, but really the entire digital system, the entire management process also need to change so that we can adapt to new demands of modern manufacturing.
Okay. So can I ask a question? Which clients do you have more e-commerce warehouses or manufacturers?
Definitely manufacturing. So our goal is really trying to build a digital infrastructure for modern manufacturers who are better integrated with the e-commerce type of business model. Think about a lot of successful companies like Tesla. They no longer have a sales distribution system, right? They have like the customer center. You can experience the product and then make the order directly online, and then that order is directly go to the gigafactory, super factory, and then they start the production. So it's a very big disruptive change to conventional supply chain. It's a completely different way to do production. So we really focus on manufacturing and try to provide a infrastructure level solution to all manufacturers to let them to be more flexible and more efficient.
Okay. And I can see like there is behind us the products, HEV machine that can, like you can control it using app on the phone, or how is it working?
Correct. So really how we drive the motion and the action of these robots or any devices is really through a data. That data can come from app or come from a web page or come from an e-commerce online order. It's data connectivity driving the motion of all these robots, right?
Oh my God.
So that's the important part.
So if I understand it right, so for example, I am a customer, I will go to some e-commerce platform, and then when I order that, I pay
Correct.
it will directly like do
Correct.
like, oh my
Correct.
gosh, so like skipping like directly from the customer.
Yep.
Wow.
So that's what we call the C2M, and enabled by
That's
digitization.
awesome. That's
Yep.
really amazing, and probably there would be no like lower risk of mistakes, right? Lower possibility of mistakes.
Correct. In the conventional production method, there is a very long process. Like for example, salespeople need to define
Yes,
when it
yes.
to be delivered, and then the information, the order is sent to production planning team.
Yeah.
They plan the production, and then they send to maybe like material requirement team to make sure they have sufficient material to make sure the production can go, and then send to the factory for the production. So it's very tedious, slow, and long process.
Yes.
Nowadays, we make the entire production planning and decision making integrated to be one smart system, so it's immediate.
Yeah, it's just like me, like here with my
Exactly.
with my phone, just like I paid, and directly like in several
Correct.
seconds it's gonna be like in
Correct.
somewhere in the.
Correct.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh my God. I still need time to to
The world is
digest
changing.
this information. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, this is really sounds like a future is like it's here
The
now.
future is here. Yeah. Like for example, maybe 10 years ago when we order food from a restaurant, we do not know where the food is, what the status is. But nowadays, if we open up these apps, we know who is delivering my food and where he is and what's the estimated time for delivery, right? That data is really like penetrating through that used to be untransparent supply chain, but nowadays the data is directly connecting the customer with the supplier. So it's a very different dynamics nowadays.
Wow. And what do you think, like if talking about this like data automation, from your perspective, from a personal perspective, what do you think, professional perspective, what do you think is going to be like the next future trend? What's going to be the next step?
Right. I think really the digitization and the AI is making manufacturing more and more virtual, meaning they're no longer like very physical, but their ability, their status is like virtually connected onto the cloud. Then you can connect all the factories together, knowing the status of the supply chain. You can find who will be the supplier can provide that manufacturing capability. Also, all these idling resources can find who will be the demand, who will be the customer. So it becomes a very fast data exchange platform. And then the factory no longer only like making static products. They are really providing manufacturing services and dynamically connecting to demands.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Gong.
My pleasure.
Thank you for making me smarter, for teaching me some new things.
You're smart in a different field.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And it was CeMAT Asia 2021 Online Guided Tours and Beta Intelligence.
Thank you, everyone.